This week on Movies Baby, the Marvel Cinematic Universe returned to movie theaters with its second of 3 releases scheduled for 2025, Thunderbolts. Joe and I saw it. We're going to review it. But first, let's dig a little bit, if you don't mind, into the state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the highest grossing movie franchise of all time. Now, the MCU has been on a bit of a roller coaster ride since Avengers Endgame in 2019. Endgame, of course, is the second highest grossing movie of all time. Massive blockbuster to the nth degree. And it brought an end to the first era of the MCU, the so-called Infinity Saga, which started with Iron Man and produced $8 billion movies over its run. It's the golden age of the MCU, what we think of as the MCU. But since Endgame, the MCU has been winding its way through what it calls the multiverse saga, which in comparison has produced only $2 billion movies. One of them was a Sony movie. It wasn't even a Disney Marvel movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. And the other, Deadpool and Wolverine from last year, it is just on its own island. It's barely even part of kind of the central narrative of the MCU. So the multiverse saga has been a bit of a rough ride for Marvel, particularly compared to the Infinity Saga. And it's even produced what was unthinkable several years ago, actual flops, movies that like The Eternals, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, The Marvels, movies that underperformed both critically and financially. This would have been unthinkable during the Infinity Saga run. So that brings us to 2025. Thunderbolts, like I said, is the second of 3 Marvel releases this year, along with Captain America Brave New World and Fantastic Four First Steps, all of which is leading up to the big one next year, Avengers Doomsday, which officially has started filming, but if you trust the rumors, it does not have a finished script yet, and it does not even have finalized casting yet, and the Russos are trying to film around an unfinished script and unfinalized casting, which is never a good thing. On the other hand, people have pointed out that this is always the way it is with Marvel movies. They always go through script rewrites and reshoots, and the cast is always hard to wrangle because you need 20 of the biggest movie stars in the same place at the same time. So you can decide which part of the debate you fall on with that. But the fact of the matter is, Avengers Doomsday has a $300 million budget. We just saw what the Russo brothers do with $300 million with Netflix's The Electric State, which is an absolute garbage fire of a movie. Avengers Doomsday has to come out May 1st, 2026, come hell or high water. I mean, if they have to push this thing back, that's going to be really, really bad. Has to come out May 1st, 2026. Bad not just for Marvel, bad for movies in general. Last year probably would have been a lot better if Deadpool and Wolverine had kicked off the summer like it was originally planned instead of Fall Guy and Furiosa. So everybody needs Avengers Doomsday to come out on May 1st, 2026 and be the big hit that is expected to be. But right now, a bit of a rocky road. We'll see what the Russo brothers can bring together by May of next year. So all of that in mind, Joe, going into Thunderbolts weekend, this past weekend, how would you rate the state of the MCU? Do you think they're actually in trouble? Are they fine? Are they too big to fail? What is the state of the MCU going into Thunderbolts weekend?
Going into Thunderbolts weekend, I was one person that was saying I would rather manage the decline of Marvel than run essentially any other studio if my goal was to make bankable hit movies, right? But I think that where the shift comes is that after Thunderbolts, I personally feel I don't have to manage a decline. I could manage a second renaissance.
Yeah.
That was my feeling.
Yeah.
Because me and you, for better or worse, and not really, but we liked. I'll speak for myself. I liked Brave New World. I don't care that it sucked ass. It was good or whatever. Who cares?
It was totally fine.
Literally, who cares?
People's negative reaction to it was confusing.
Whatever. We're not invested. We don't give a shit. It was fine.
It was fine.
But Thunderbolts was actually good, and then I get why people would like it, and I get why people would want to follow along for more. The Brave New World, I wasn't I get why people will want a 6th Captain America movie. No, I just was Harrison Ford's on screen. That's crazy. But for Thunderbolts, I was oh, okay, wait, look, these are characters that I can get invested in. They're cool. Florence Pugh is a fucking movie star.
Yes.
Certified.
Big time.
And good casting her. Like, oh, good. Like Florence Pugh's in charge of things now. Like she's good at acting. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is doing her thing. Like, well, I love her. That's no problem. Even horrible David Harbour is funny and charming in this movie.
I thought
like,
the same thing.
What?
I have a visceral reaction to David Harbour and not a good visceral reaction.
I don't trust him.
Usually. I just don't like.
I don't trust his projects.
He seems like he has one. He also seems like he has one trick in his bag, which is just sort of loud and angry. And I've just gotten so tired of it. But in this movie,
Not so.
it was a
Charming
little
in this film.
softer and more charming and lovable. I even like David Harbour in Thunderbolts, which is a miracle.
So basically, Thunderbolts to me showed a couple things that Marvel can still do, where they can have a renaissance going into Phase 4 or 5. Do you know which phase it is officially, by any chance?
Yeah, it's this is the end of Phase 5, and then Fantastic Four kicks off Phase 6.
Oh, Fantastic Four doesn't look good though.
I know
that kind of gets in the way of my little speech here.
Well, but
we didn't see it yet, so that's just a trailer. Who cares? I'll just talk about Thunderbolts.
Yes.
Here's what Thunderbolts did well that I haven't seen in a lot of Marvel movies of late. Like, I don't know, nice, clean wants and emotions that are human and not based on lore. You know what I mean? It's like she wants that because she feels sad, not because like the multiverse will tear into two. It's a lot easier for me as a person to be like, yeah, I've felt sad before too. You know, that sucks. You know, so like, for real, like okay, like good job, like making me emotionally grounded characters. Two, this movie had still too much for my liking, but as far as like reality of making a multiverse 70 movie franchise goes, it had like less Marvel than usual, or at least an approachable amount of Marvel lore for me to get on board with. And at the end, spoiler alert, who cares? It's a fucking comic book movie. You can skip if you want. They're going to be like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to position these ragtag crew of villains as the new Avengers, and because now they're going to be looked at as heroes. So now there's going to be an exciting thing where it's like Florence Pugh and Julia Louis-Dreyfus have their Avengers, and Anthony Mackie has his Avengers, I guess, right? Oh, look, there's Bucky, and then there's like Anthony Mackie.
Thunderbolts is like crashing into the Avengers narrative,
right? Because Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to like push it up. Or anyway, this ending, all of a sudden, I, layman, was like, okay, I'm excited, or or I'm ready for. I'd much rather do Florence Pugh's Avengers versus Anthony Mackie's Avengers than like Thanos or no. Loki's the Time Lord, and there's 1,700 things, and the multiverse thing fucking sucked. Let's say it.
Yeah, let's put it to bed, people.
The multiverse
Let's
sucked.
put it to bed.
It served their needs at the time to develop their streaming platform, like literally.
No, that was it. That was it,
dude.
It was such a transparent like financial move. It was like, what can we do narratively to just expand this into all platforms in 100 different directions at once?
Smart on paper.
Oh, multiverse.
Smart on paper.
It's terrible for user experience. It's like terrible for user experience, audience experience.
It's like the James Wiseman plan with the Warriors, where it's like, we'll be good old and we'll be good young. It's like, no. Just worry about Steph. Don't worry about fucking James Wiseman, fucking Kuminga.
Just do what you do good.
Do Steph.
They got too greedy.
Yes.
They spread it too far, too thin.
Right.
And I could not agree with you, Joe. Thunderbolts, I think, was my favorite Marvel movie since Black Panther, which has been a while now. And it's for exactly the reason that you said, is it feels like a movie. It doesn't feel like something, like I've said before, that is 1/3 previously on, 1/3 next time on, and then this sort of hastily put together villain of the week thing. This really felt like a movie with real characters, with a real arc. It was excellently performed. Florence Pugh is great. Sebastian Stan is so cool when he comes on the motorcycle on the highway. It's just amazing.
Just reboot the Terminator now.
He looks like the Terminator,
and I was like, all right,
cool.
reboot.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, smart. Just get her to do
Selena Myers.
Yeah, she's just doing Selena Myers as like an actual sort of comic book
good
villain.
Idea. You know, I love Selena Myers. So
great.
Good idea.
It was great stuff. And like you said, it struck a nice balance on the lore. Of course, it's got to do a little bit of lore, a little bit of continuing the narrative of all the other movies and stuff and the phases.
Fine. But it wasn't heavy-handed.
No. It felt like
Deadpool and Wolverine. It was like
movie.
Suffocating.
Yes. And speaking of Deadpool and Wolverine, the one thing that I thought Thunderbolts did well, which Marvel has never done well, and is one of my main pet peeves about them, is Marvel, particularly in this multiverse saga era, has become obsessed with making every movie a sort of meta commentary on the franchise itself, or a referendum on the franchise, or a referendum on problems that they created in the franchise, and then they act like it's just sort of like problems that they why is the franchise in disarray? Let's make a movie about how the franchise is in disarray. It's like, you made the franchise in disarray. So they've been trying to sort of like monetize their own incompetency during this multiverse saga period, and I think it's just transparent to audiences. I think that's a big reason why the movies have sort of suffered critically and financially as well. But here, like, out of nowhere, miraculously, I liked the sort of light meta commentary on the state of the franchise because it was grounded in character and it was relatable, and it was about being sort of these just depressed superheroes that have nothing to do except do like kill missions for the government, and they just have no meaning or purpose in their lives. They're all depressed, and then they suddenly sort of find a purpose together. And I think it was like it wasn't a heavy-handed meta commentary, not like Deadpool and Wolverine, which made me want to like pull my hair out.
That was so tough.
All the inside jokes and jokes about Fox versus Disney.
My stomach still hurts.
Come on,
from
now.
how
Who
hard
gives
that
a
was
shit about any of
to
this?
watch.
In comparison to that, Thunderbolts has, I thought, it wasn't even like, you know what it was good about? It didn't even feel meta. It just felt like sort of inherent. It felt like, oh, this is where we are. This is like a realistic appraisal of where this franchise is and where it should go. And it was just a movie that felt like it was looking in the mirror in an honest way and was just set out to do what it should be doing all along, which is just make movies. Just make movies that people are going to want to see, that are going to make them, that are going to be endearing and compelling, and are going to have good characters in them. It was just a very back to basics movie, but also it had some really nice stylistic choices. It was very cool. It was funny. I just was like, I was just rooting for Marvel, which I haven't done forever.
Me too. I know, isn't that weird?
It was weird.
See, like you said, they did a good job, like keeping it grounded, but then at the end it provided an exciting okay, I'm excited to see what happens next with the Avengers, something I didn't care about before I watched this movie, and now I'm like, okay, whatever. And this movie was so like much better than previous movies this studio put out that I started being this guy. I was like, wait, you know what? Marvel's fucking so cool. Are you telling me? Well, no, think about this. Think about this.
I had the same thing.
It's like, wait. How did they do this? They took 50 years of America's favorite superheroes, and they made it into 50 beloved movies with biggest stars in the world, like every comic book fan's dream. And then they all connect, and there's like spin-offs, and they've made 40 of them. You know, they've made like, don't quote me on this, $70 billion in the global, and only cost like $7 billion. From business, like Marvel didn't let other niches develop. That's like the problem with Marvel, is that their ascendancy during the ascendancy of streaming made it difficult for other niche pockets of content or types of films.
It was a hegemony. It swallowed up all available capital for movies.
Exactly, and that's sort of where the big ding comes in. Yeah, but like almost if you were to forgive them for being too successful, essentially, and also like they didn't. They just responded to the culture that exists. They didn't make our shitty culture, okay? I mean, that they helped it be shitty as they made some bad movies. But what I'm trying to say is, because we live in this timeline, to make it Marvel-y, where Marvel existed, not where, Marvel didn't exist, and now, all these amazing like there's this fake future people believe would have happened if Marvel didn't happen. Every movie would be $20 million, and it would make $60 million opening weekend, and they'd all be like black bag. Like, no, they wouldn't. It would just be a different Marvel. Like, I don't know. If we're to be nice to Marvel, the whole overarching project is rather impressive, and Kevin Feige, tip of the hat, like, how did you do that, man? How did you
listen to us?
How did you
listen to us?
For 1 second? How did he do that? How did he like all the drama with Disney, all the drama with Sony and Spider-Man and the fans and the movies and Georgia and the movies and California and the Trump and he made fucking 45 of these movies, a bajillion TV shows. People fucking love them, and now me and you are here, number 45, and we for the first time are going, I can't wait for 46.
No, truly,
that's fucking crazy.
That is amazing. And the thing is, you know, just to go off what you said, I think, you know, Marvel comic book movies, they are an important part of the movie industry ecosystem now as it currently stands, you know, because they Ryan Coogler's not making Sinners without making Black Panther. They are an important part of the ecosystem. We need these movies that
they keep
top
movie
of the
theaters
ballot,
alive, Brett.
exactly, top of the ballot headliner tent poles, and that then positively affect other movies down the ballot that make opportunities for directors to level up, for Coogler to become the new Nolan, the new Spielberg, and so they are an important part of the movie industry ecosystem. The problem, like you said, is when they got too greedy, tried to spread it too far, swallowed up too much space in the movie ecosystem, took up too much capital so that nothing could get made besides comic book movies. And they ultimately, the rest of us suffered from that. The industry suffered from that.
Yeah.
Marvel started to suffer from that. But now Thunderbolts really does feel like this sort of back to basics storytelling for them, and I really liked it. I was insanely could not believe it. I was rooting for Marvel. Now I'm excited for the next one, excited for the future. But I'm also not so naive to think that the MCU is now going to be cast in the image of Florence Pugh.
No.
Like
here's a little fucking newsflash. The next one's going to suck, and then the next 12 after they're going to suck.
That unfortunately is true.
This is all just like a moment because Florence Pugh.
This is a
good
moment
at
in
acting.
time. This is a moment. We live in time, to quote another Florence Pugh movie.
Yeah.
And this is a brief little island of time in which
Just
we're
for
having
one
fun.
quick moment.
We're having fun with Marvel.
One quick
we're
moment.
rooting for Marvel. Everything's making sense. All other movies are making money. Cougar's making Sinners. Everything is working right now on this little island. But Fantastic Four does not look great.
No, it looks
bad. And
but so did Thunderbolts, man.
By the
Until
end,
the end.
yeah.
At the end, I was like, "Yeah, Thunderbolts," but
Fantastic Four looks bad in a way that I don't know if is like fixable, and that it's like unwieldy. It looks unwieldy. It looks like too much material, too much going on. It looks a little messy. It looks unfunny. It looks uncharming.
Well, I hate nostalgia, pop nostalgia. I hate the vibe, like the 50s, but it's like colorful and spacey. Like I just hate that flavor.
It's such
so
a crutch.
much.
It seems aesthetically
sucks.
it's using a lot of crutches.
Crutch is a good word for it.
I am not excited for
Pedro
Fantastic Four,
Pascal,
and I'm
fine.
definitely not excited for the Russo brother, another Avengers movie from the Russo brothers. So I do think ultimately this is just we're really enjoying this moment because we know it's probably a temporary moment of rooting for Marvel and enjoying and everything balanced and fitting together. And they didn't spend $300 million; they only spent $180 million on this. So this is a brief little moment in time, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to give Thunderbolts 3.5 stars. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I'm not going to go quite that far. I'm going to go and give it the 3 stars though. For sure, it was good. It wasn't really good in my opinion, but it was certainly good, and it was good because of the things we talked about. And just to say it once more, Florence Pugh is the Meryl Streep of her generation.
Yes. I saw somebody online the other day, and I like Caitlin Devers a lot, but you all have like some weird recency bias. I saw someone online saying, or not even online, it was Beanie Fieldstein saying Caitlin Devers is our Meryl Streep. No, she is not. Florence Pugh is our Meryl Streep.
That's fun, nice thing to say about your friends.
Streep. It's a very nice compliment to pay to your friend.
That's what you pay.
It's
to
also
your
heresy.
It's obviously
Florence
not
Pugh
true.
is at this point almost sort of just like head and shoulders above everybody else in her generation.
She's the greatest actor of her generation. She's the greatest actor since Philip Seymour Hoffman, and she is.
You heard it here first.
And she is the Florence Pugh of her
beanie.
generation. So that's just facts. Sorry.